If you've been playing for years, but your ability to play solos never gets much better, it's not because you don't have the talent. It's probably the way that you've been practicing. The first big problem I see with students, mindless repetition of patterns that don't really teach you anything. The second big progress killer, most players waste their valuable practice time playing things they already know. That's not practice, that's procrastination. The third big progress killer, so many students seem afraid to really push themselves. Come on, you can do better. Today, we're building a practice routine that leads to something called automaticity, the point where you really own your skills. You stop thinking about the notes, you start playing the music. That's what you're striving for if you really want to be good. So let's get into it. There is something we need to do before we even touch a string. And this is one of the things that's helped my own playing the most through the years. We need to take an honest inventory of our playing. Every 90 days, you need to take a look at the gap between where your playing is now and where you want it to be. Then you need to ask yourself, what's holding you back from playing the way you want to? And that's what you need to focus on. Let's say you need to get better at targeting chord tones and you think mastering triads is the key. Don't just get to where you can fumble through a couple shapes and say, well, I'm okay at triads. You know that's a lie. Ask yourself, can I play them vertically, horizontally, diatonically? Can I turn them into licks? And if the answer is no, that becomes your new practice priority. Asking and answering those kind of questions keeps your brain laser focused and your playing moving forward. Now, I can't tell you what it is exactly that you need to practice, but I am going to show you some innovative and just plain better ways to practice skills that all aspiring lead guitarists need to develop, starting with triads. It's critical for your ability to flow around the fretboard and find chord tones and triad shapes anywhere on the neck that you learn to play triads diatonically through a key. We're going to use the key of G major since we can start down low on the fretboard. In G major, that gives us G major, A minor, B minor, C major, D major, E minor, F sharp diminished, and G major. So 3 different kinds of triads in a major key, major, minor, and diminished. And you should learn to play triads with 3 different fingers starting on the root note. The index finger, which gives us shapes with 2 notes on the first string and 1 note on the second string. Here's the major shape. Here's the minor shape. And here's diminished. If we use the middle finger on the root, we get shapes with 1 note on the first string and 2 notes on the second string. Here's major, here's minor, here's diminished. Lastly, with the pinky or third finger on the root, we're going to play 1 note on 3 different strings. Here's major, minor, here's diminished. Those are the shapes, and there's 2 ways that we're going to use them in our workout. The first way, we're going to play through the diatonic arpeggios, moving the root notes horizontally up 1 string, starting with the low E. We're using the key of G major, remember? So starting with the index finger shapes, let's run through it. We've got G major, A minor, B minor, C major, D major, E minor, F sharp diminished, back to G. The middle finger shapes, here we go. We've got G major, A minor, B minor, C major, D major, E minor, F sharp diminished, and G major. Lastly, the third finger or pinky shapes. Let's do it. We've got G major, A minor, B minor, C major, D major, E minor, F sharp diminished, back to G. Awesome. And what is this going to do for us? Well, it gives us multiple ways to play the same thing. You need to be able to do that because you never know where you're going to be on the neck, but wherever you are, you need to be able to find notes easily and play what you're hearing. Now, the next part of this exercise is to do what we just did with the roots on the E string, with each string moving across the neck. And I don't want you finding a G note and starting there each time. I want you to start down at the bottom of the neck with the notes that the neck gives you. Like on the A string, we'd start with B and B minor, C major, D major, E minor, F sharp diminished, back to G, and take it all the way up the neck. Heads up, when you get to shapes that include the B string, that B string shift is going to be in play there. So watch the diagrams closely. Hey, if these videos are helping you with your guitar playing and your general understanding of music, do me a favor. Like the video and subscribe to the channel. Seeing the channel grow really helps me stay inspired to keep making these videos. Thanks. The next thing we're going to do with triads, we're going to play them diatonically again, but this time vertically across the fretboard. You're going to end up using the 3 different shapes to be efficient, and I do this exercise by playing 3 triads starting on each string. For instance, starting on G on the low E string, we've got G, A minor, and B minor. On the A string, we've got C, D, and E minor. Starting on the D string, we've got F sharp diminished, G, A minor. Starting with the roots on the G string, we've got B minor, C, D major, and then with roots on the B string, we've got E minor, F sharp diminished, and G. Once you get that down, start with the A minor triad on the low E string. Do the same exercise. Work your way through the scale all the way up the neck, and that, my friends, is how you master triads. The next concept is one you've just got to have down cold if you want to be good at lead guitar. We're talking the pentatonic scale. And we're going to take that little baby bullshit teaching like the only pattern you need to play great guitar solos and throw it out the window. Yeah, because one pattern's all you need if you want to sound like crap the rest of your life. Here's what we're going to do to really ingrain pentatonics so that you can play them with fluency and confidence. We're going to take the 6-string box shapes and get started by reducing them down to 2 strings. On the E and B strings, here's the notes in G major pentatonic pattern 1, pattern 2, pattern 3, pattern 4, pattern 5, back to pattern 1, pattern 2, and all the way up to pattern 3 again. And now that we've got the notes, we're going to do this. We're going to ascend through pattern 1, move up and descend through pattern 2. Ascend through pattern 3, descend through pattern 4. Pattern 5, we're going to ascend and then descend through pattern 1. And continue all the way up the neck until we run out of frets. We get that down, we're going to move to 3 strings. Here's pattern 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, back to pattern 1, pattern 2, pattern 3. And you know I'm going to tell you to build it out until you're playing all 6 strings using that alternating ascending and then descending order. Now, what is this doing for us? The answer is a lot. Normally, we start our scale patterns from the root when we practice. Practice like that, you're going to play like that when you solo. You want to be able to start licks anywhere on any note you're hearing in your head. And this drill teaches you to do that. Also, cool licks usually happen on 2 or 3 strings at a time, not all 6. This is going to get you used to playing these bite-sized chunks of scales rather than running through the whole pattern. Next, let's take that pentatonic exercise we just did and expand it 2 more notes, which gives us the major scale. G major has the notes G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and we're back to G. And once again, most of us try to learn scales by playing across all 6 strings in 2-octave patterns. Well, we're going to strip that down again to 2 strings. And once again, let's not start from the root. We're down in the 3rd position, and we're going to play these 6 notes on the B and E strings. D, E, F sharp, G, A, and B. Move up to the next position. We've got E, F sharp, G, A, B, and C. Next position, F sharp, G, A, B, C, and D. And we would take that all the way up the neck. Cool. Now, let's take it all the way up the neck, alternating between ascending and descending. And I want you to build out this part of the practice routine in 2 ways. First, play those 2 string 6-note shapes on each set of 2 strings. For instance, E and A, A and D, you get the picture. Then start expanding to 3 strings. Then move on to 4, 5, and all 6. Pretty soon you'll be owning the entire fretboard. Okay, now we're going to get into the kind of thing that makes you a real player, and I'm willing to bet you've never practiced like this before. We're going to do what I call a compound exercise because it combines 2 skills. We're going to play both the major scale and the pentatonic patterns in one exercise. Check this out. If we do a 2-string 6-note major string pattern starting at C on the 1st fret of the B string, we're going to finish on the A note at fret 5 of the E string. Now let's shift up to the 5th position, and we've got the 2nd pattern of G major pentatonic with the notes B, A, G, and E, and we descend through that. Played smoothly, it sounds like this. Now let's shift to the 7th position, and we can play another major scale pattern with F sharp, G, A, B, C, and D. And then if we shift up to the 10th position, we can play pattern 4 of G major pentatonic. Shift up to the 12th position, we've got a major scale pattern starting on B. Shift to the 15th position and play pattern 1 of G major pentatonic. Start the next major scale pattern on the E at the 17th position. Slide up to the 19th position and descend through pattern 3 of G major pentatonic. And we're all out of frets. And of course, next we would start building out to 3 strings, 4 strings, to all 6 strings. Here's what this same exercise, just playing it on 3 strings at a time, sounds like. It's already starting to sound like actual lead guitar lines, not just running patterns starting on the root and going up 2 octaves and back. And here's something to break up the practice and make it even more musical. Make a lick out of the patterns. For instance, on 2 strings, let's take our major scale pattern starting on C. We're going to play from C to F sharp on the E string, back down to C, and then ascend through the rest of the pattern. We're going to shift to the 2nd pattern of G major pentatonic, linger slightly on the B note, then do a little trill between the A and the B, hammering onto that B and back to the A. before playing that F sharp and E. Add a little vibrato to that E note, and now we're playing an actual musical phrase. And we take that all the way up the neck too. So why would we do an exercise like this? Well, it's because in a real solo, we don't play a couple of triads and then stop to think, now I need to do a pentatonic. Now I need to play the major scale. Your brain needs to connect and see them all together on the same fretboard map. And an exercise like this, it fuses them together. As I said earlier, I'm willing to bet you never practice like this. Playing fragments starting on different notes rather than running the entire scale pattern from the root. Shifting positions and alternating between ascending and descending. Combining different skills in the same exercise and taking that another step further by creating a musical phrase, not just regurgitating patterns. I know this might seem like a lot, but if you want to make real progress, sooner or later you gotta take off the training wheels. Now there are many other things to practice, of course, but we've run out of time today. Although there is one more thing I want you to add to your guitar workout: running. As in, running for the hills next time you're tempted to click on a video that says some bullshit like, the only pattern you ever need to play lead guitar. As always, I appreciate you watching, and I hope this lesson helps you along the road to your guitar playing goals. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, have fun with that guitar, never stop learning. I'll see you in the next lesson. Bye.